What's up, everybody? Just want to make this video a few quick words about consent here as I take my medication. So, blessings out to everybody out there. Hope everybody's doing well. Um, let's talk about what consent means in our current system, right? In our current climate right now, political climate in particular, but also society at large, right? So, I want to talk about passive consent. Let's talk about a few concepts, right? What's informed consent, on the other hand, or on by itself, right? Really, and what's manufactured consent, because that's a term that is thrown around a bit, and it's actually really key to understand what's happening here as you go about your business. So, my point to everybody right now is that consent is super important, because right now a lot of people, I believe, are passively consenting to operating in broken systems. That has a lot of implications, okay? I think a lot of you we can go expound on that, but the bottom line that I want to express right now is that passively consenting to what's around you, right? Our society, our politics, um, it really does you no good, and it actually aligns you with the wrong side, and you're basically consenting and saying, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with participating in a corrupt system. I'm okay with participating in a society that stands for all these things and has me doing these things, even though I don't really like them or want them for myself, but I'm consenting by not saying anything and being passive and going along with everything. Right? You're really aligning yourself with the wrong team. So informed consent is when you understand your situation, and you still choose yes. Now that has, and just like passive informed consent has levels to it, everything has levels to it, right? But it's important to know that our system and our reality, our political system in particular, is set up so that we give, there's a line between passive and informed consent where people know what is happening to them and they go along with it, right? This two-party system, we have to vote, right? Because the only option we have is the lesser of two evils. Well, I think one option might be that if we've done the lesser of two evils for a long time and we've gotten evil out of it, for instance, I think we can all argue that that has been the case. Maybe we try no evils, okay? But if we understand these things and go along and vote, now we're giving informed consent. We're going along with the evils. It's ironic that turned out that way. The use of words was not intended, but that slid right into place. So passive consent, you're going along with things, and oh well, or you could be completely uninformed with passive consent, right? I don't pay attention. I just do what they tell me. I think a lot of people can say that attitude put them in a really questionable position the last few years with a certain medical experiment. Now, that's just a terrible example, but it's our reality, okay? So it pays to be informed, right? And, for instance, I'm informed and I don't consent. That's what I suggest a free individual do right now. I think that's someone that stands on the right side of things. I think it's our duty and what we have to do. We have to be informed. And really, when you're informed on these situations, most people would argue you kind of end up within a certain spectrum, and by and large, that whole spectrum can agree to reject what we have going on. No matter where you stand at the end of the day on certain things, you kind of agree. We all have the same enemy, right? So we need to know that by participating at all is consent, and therefore we have to make choices today. We can't just go about and go back to broken institutions and systems and expect them to work, and then we're going to be held accountable, right? It's real. So how about we stop giving consent to broken systems, right? Like I've one of my big things right now is two-party politics is dead and obsolete, and we need to not give consent, right? Now, beyond all of that, the people that don't make a choice, they're actually being affected by something that's called manufactured consent, which is something totally different. One might call this propaganda, and actually, if you look into it, I'll put up something here. Edward Bernays, who's the father of modern day, what we know as propaganda, he has his ideas on manufactured consent, let's say. So what they do is, this is all the programming, everything that happens put out through the media, all the things that are under their control. They essentially craft society, they craft things to be this way so that people aren't left with a choice, so that they have to choose the lesser of two evils, an evil. Okay, so our whole system is manufactured consent, and it works on many different levels. But understand that the narratives you take in, and they box you into a position where you have to give consent one way or another. That's like, at the end of the day, it's too crazy to think to go outside of their box, But that's exactly what we have to do. We have to understand the game that's being played on us, and we have to rise above. And so right now, consent is a very important concept. So hope that helps. If this resonates with you, please spread this video around and pay attention to the channel. I'll be back. All right, y'all. Peace.